Hey guys, it's Michael Campion, and you're listening to the Fuller House Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Fuller House Podcast with Erica and Kyle. This week we got a bit of a special episode. Erica got to spend some time talking to the one, the only Jodie Sweetin. So we've got that. Oh, I can hear the excitement already.
I'm squealing with excitement.
Plus,
sorry, go ahead.
The last episode of season 2 of Fuller House taped, and we got some reports back from there. But let's hit that theme music and get right at it.
1, 2, 3, 4. La 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 la. Whatever happened to predictability?
See, you're so good. It's just when you don't give yourself permission to and use crutch words, then you like really.
Oh, so are we going to leave this in the episode? Okay.
No. Unless you wanted to.
Wow. So that's a great start. Well, hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm extra excited to say hi to everyone today.
It's true. You've been antsy waiting to get this up. And
oh, my gosh. Yeah. I talked to Jodie Sweetin, guys.
Yes. So that must have been a dream come true for you.
You know it was. You were like, I haven't seen you this excited. And I wanted to be like, this is like if you got to discuss Star Trek with like your favorite actor about your favorite episode or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Like if I got to sit down and talk about Star Wars with Mark Hamill.
Yeah, see, there we go. I knew you would be able to throw out like the perfect example.
Yeah, so
this was my Mark Hamill, Jodie Sweetin.
Well, yes, it was obvious that you had a lot of fun, and I got to hear half of the conversation, but I haven't yet gotten to hear Jodie's answers to your questions. So I guess I am excited.
What do you want to know? What are you most curious about her talking about? Because we really haven't talked about this much.
Well, I want to know if she admits to who her love interest is going to be next season, so we can finally talk about it too.
Oh.
I'm tired of keeping this a secret.
What else?
I want to know what her favorite episode was of Full House, not Fuller House.
Full House? Yeah, we did cover that.
And I want to know if you managed to avoid fangirling out about the Tommy Page episode.
No way. No how. I fangirled. I let it roll, and she was cool about it. Thank goodness. She wasn't like, oh my gosh, another girl freaking out. No, she's like the nicest person ever. Why don't we listen to her?
And by the way, if you're just joining us for the first time because you're a huge Jodie Sweetin fan, we do this every week, more or less. And we got plenty of past episodes and interviews with Juan Pablo Depache, Michael Campion, even the young Elias Harger, who was probably one of the funnest interviews I've ever heard.
We also had Ashley Liao.
Yes, we had Ashley as well. And even the new Harry Takayama came on the show once.
So, Kyle, after the show, we've got some really funny things to share with everyone, including a little bit about Candace Cameron Bure's father and how he reacts to those kissing scenes DJ has to do at the tapings, even today.
I heard
she's 40 years old.
I heard he has to be forcibly kept in his seat because he gets all jealous father.
We'll see. We'll see. Right. Don't give too much away. We've got stuff to talk about after the show about last week's taping.
Done talking to you. Stick around, and we'll get to some of these little bits of news.
Yeah, guys, just so you know, another one of our things that I think is just fabulous is only a small fraction of people can actually attend the tapings. So we always find out the cool stuff that happens in between scenes for you since you can't be there. We kind of fill you in on that stuff. So you're going to get to hear a lot of fun things right after Jodie Sweetin's interview. So stay with us, and why wouldn't you? You're going to hear Jodie Sweetin. Okay, let's go. The Fuller House Podcast. Erica here with a very special guest, Jodie Sweetin. I feel like I wish people could be like, yay, in the background, but it's just me here. So,
Jodie, right. We'll imagine it in our heads.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. It's awesome to have you on.
Oh, my pleasure. I see you guys have a ton of really true Full House fans and Fuller House fans, and it's really exciting to see, people start up stuff like this. It's really fun.
Yeah, Jodie, you are talking to the real fans here. So I mean, that's like
Well,
pressure
good.
for me. I'm like, I got to ask the right things here. So, first of all, I said on the show at the beginning of this year that I felt like 2016 was going to be your year. I don't know if you feel like that, but like with Dancing with the Stars and Fuller House being such a huge hit, your daughters obviously are so cute. You're engaged.
You know, it has been an incredible year, and it's been a year for me of, you know, kind of going back to things that I love to do that, you know, I never thought in a million years I'd really get the opportunity to do again. And yeah, you know, 2016, it has been a busy year, but it's been a lot of fun, and you know, I don't think I would change anything.
Awesome. Okay, I do have to ask you a couple Full House questions. Favorite Full House episode?
Favorite Full House episode? You know, just because it was so much fun to actually shoot, probably the Disney World episode.
Yes.
I remember it was about, like, you know, Stephanie, you know, Michelle has to be the princess for the day and all this stuff, but I just remember how much fun we had actually doing that episode. And, you know, for me, it was like a huge family vacation. So
Right.
that's one that's really memorable to me.
Now, did you guys actually go to Disney World? Because I could swear you're at Hotel Del in some of that.
No, we went to Disney World for 2 weeks.
Really? And there's
we were
no
there
Hotel
for like
Del
15
scenes?
days. No, it's not the hotel. It looks like the Hotel Del Coronado.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Grand Floridian Hotel, which was actually modeled after the Hotel Del Coronado in San Diego. The Grand Floridian it's designed to look like that, but it's actually not that hotel.
Okay, so it's real Disney World. That was real Florida Ocean then.
Yep.
Okay, very cool. I was convinced it was Hotel Del, but maybe not. All right.
No.
Is it true you never watched Full House growing up?
It's true. It's true.
Gosh.
I never watched it growing up. And I don't know that I've really still probably watched all the episodes. I've watched maybe a few here and there, but
you are missing out.
You know, for me, my kids watch it. My kids are huge Full House fans.
Aww.
They probably know more about the episodes than I do.
Really?
But yeah, for me, it was like, you know, I did it and it was work, and you know, I was like, I know what happened. I don't need to do it again.
You weren't an egotist going home and watching it right away.
No, not at all. No, I was busy being a kid when I wasn't actually working. So.
But was there anyone on TV that you kind of like idolized the way people love Stephanie?
I remember one of the shows that I loved when I was young was Young Indiana Jones. I was actually talking to somebody about this show recently. A friend of mine, whose kid just discovered it. It was a great show, and I loved it. And it had like Indiana Jones as a kid, and Indiana Jones as like a teenager with Sean Patrick Flannery actually played the older version of Indiana Jones, like, you know, kind of teenage version. And I loved that show. It was fun. It was adventure. It was, you know, I mean, Indiana Jones were some of my favorite movies as a kid. So yeah.
How funny! I've never even heard of that. I'm like over here, like, no, I swear, I watched Full House. It was a great show.
It was. I believe it was on ABC. I think it was on ABC as well, because I know they used to be at all the ABC parties and functions and stuff. And yeah, it was a really fun kind of adventure show.
Oh, did you get to like see the cast and stuff when you were at those?
I did. I was sort of friendly with the younger kid who was on the show. And then I had a huge crush on Sean Patrick Flannery growing up. I thought it was just adorable. And we did like ABC promos and stuff together.
Huh. Okay, I'm going to have to YouTube that one then.
Yeah.
Because maybe something will flash back and I'll remember. So I have to geek out for like a second. You can just give me a second. Your 10th birthday party episode with Tommy Page like made an impact on my life. Like I like recorded it on VHS and like watched it over and over and was like convinced I was going to have my birthday party just like you. I was going to like choreograph my moves just like you. Then I realized like I had no idea how to choreograph or anything. But I know you've heard this. Like you hear people be like, "Oh my gosh, like you in this episode or you did this or whatever." You've heard that so many times. But has a fan ever said anything to you that you'll like never forget?
Gosh, you know, I don't know that I can remember like very exactly specific things, but I know that there have been, like, I've gotten letters and I've, you know, talked to fans and stuff, you know, when I was a kid who said, you know, I watched your show like when I was in the hospital and I was really sick and it was the only thing that was like a happy part of my day. And, you know, those are things that I've heard, you know, from quite a few people. And, you know, to know that you have that sort of impact on people and on kids, as they're growing up and maybe going through some rough stuff and, going through family issues or, kids that grew up with, same-sex parents at a time then that a lot of people, weren't as aware of that. And they watched Full House and were like, I felt like my family was sort of normal and it was okay. And, it was just, I feel like Full House, the original one and, now Fuller House, it had a real impact on how people viewed their family and what family meant. And it wasn't just, a mom and a dad and, 2.5 kids, but it was something more than that. And, to know that that Full House was kind of the bright spot in people's days who were going through a really rough time is a huge honor.
And I know that you can't really explain this, but I have to say, I've seen you with your fans and you are very sweet. Like after tapings,
Thank
you were
you.
out there and you were signing and you were taking the time and you're very gracious. I mean, you signed something for me recently. I really couldn't really talk to you, but but you were like, you didn't like walk off. You weren't just like, you were there and you were present. And I was gonna like, these thoughts are in my head. I loved you on Dancing with the Stars. I love you with Stephanie. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, Erica, just forget it. But you were there and you were willing to take a second. I really appreciate that about you. I just thought
absolutely. I mean, it's I am so like I really am truly honored by the fans that we've had and the loyal fans that have watched the show for almost 30 years now that just really truly love what we do and without them what we Fuller House wouldn't even be a thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've always loved to be able to take the time and kind of interact with fans and really talk to people, when I can. And it's so hard because sometimes I have to walk away and I'm like, and I feel terrible because, I'm like, I just want to stay and talk to everyone and sign everyone's everything. But, sometimes you just kind of got to go, I have to run. But,
right.
I love doing that stuff and I love, hearing how the show has, what it's meant to fans.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell. All right, moving on to Fuller House. So you guys are going to be wrapping up shooting season 2 pretty soon here.
2 weeks.
2 more weeks. So what can you tell us about this season, if anything, and any chance we're going to get to be lucky enough to hear you sing some more?
Well, there will be definitely more singing for me on the show this year, which is fun. That's something I think that Steph will always get to do in the show. So that's always exciting. And then, there's still some of your, favorite cast of characters around. Matt and Steve are both around, and the original cast comes back for about 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. Stephanie does get a love interest, which is a real fun story for her.
Ooh, do we get to know anything about that?
I wish I could tell you, but I can't. I know it. Trust me. I'm like, it's so hard to not be able to say things.
Yeah.
And have to hold off until the premiere date. But yeah, it's a lot of what people loved about season 1. We're bringing back to season 2 and just kind of having a lot more fun with stuff and getting to delve into relationships a little bit more and things like that.
Awesome. And I saw you performed live recently. Is there going to be any more live performances or?
Not scheduled as of right now,
okay.
But Juan Pablo and I did a single together, and we're trying to, figure out if we want to get it released or what we want to do with it. And, we're really excited about it. And he's such an amazing singer. I mean, I don't, know if anybody has heard him sing, but he is just fantastic.
Incredible. Yeah.
And, so it was a real honor, and it was so much fun to get to sing with him. And, it's great. We've really welcomed JP into the family, and, kind of our Fuller House extended family continues on. We're just kind of growing by the episode. But yeah, I don't have anything scheduled as of right now, but I'm definitely working on some music stuff.
Okay, well, you'll let us know because we love to hear you sing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
that makes me feel better because every time I get up to sing, I can't feel my arms.
I love that you so get nervous with things because
Terrified.
I heard you talk the other night at the After Dark podcast and you were saying that you have all these plans that you want to pursue things, but you freak out about it. You get super nervous, and I feel
absolutely.
Everyone's looking at you no, you're Jodie Sweetin. You've been on TV all your life.
Oh no, I do not have it all together. I am just just human like everyone else. And I guess, for me, the music thing is, it's something that I've always loved. And, I went to performing arts high school for musical theater. So I have experience singing, but I've always gotten nervous. I get nervous to do it. And, it's fun to get to explore it on the show because I feel like I've kind of been getting to put myself out there a little bit more and feel a little more secure with it. And, it's fun to get to explore new sides of my creativity and to work on things, I'm kind of on the side. I'm working on writing stuff and, working on a YouTube show, producing and kind of writing that with some friends and my fiance. And,
nice.
I'm getting to explore other sides of things that I haven't really gotten to do in the past. And,
right.
and it's fun, but at the same time, I think like any artist, you're kind of like, this is great. Oh my God, no, it's not.
Yep. Yeah.
And no matter what people say to you, you're like, no, you're lying. Why are you lying to me? You're totally lying to me.
The creative struggle, which is so funny because
exactly.
on TV, you're like, mostly like as a child, just like such a confident little child star that's like taking the world by storm. And then later, I feel like later we always are like, oh my gosh, life is kind of tough. Like things, you start getting
when
those
you're
insecurities.
A kid, when you're a kid, you have, nothing inhibits you. And you're like, everyone wants to hear me singing loud at the top of my lungs in the grocery store. And then as an adult, people would look at you kind of crazy if you did that. But, all those insecurities and the fears creep in. But, when you're a kid, you kind of don't have any of that. So.
Right. Oh, why do we have to grow up?
I know, right?
Okay, so speaking of growing up, Stephanie's character's changed so much since we last saw her on Full House. Did you have any say in how the character was written the second time around, or like was it a total shock when you opened the script and you're like, I'm gonna be kind of a rebel this time? Like,
no, we actually had a lot of input.
Okay.
Jeff Franklin, who created Full House and now Fuller House, he has really given us a lot of ability to have input and work on storylines and kind of who our characters are. And, each day we work on the show, we have notes afterward. And so, at the end of a run through for the producers, on our rehearsal days, we sit around the table and we go, okay, I like this, I didn't like that. And, I think there should be more of this or less of this, or this isn't how my character would react or whatever.
That's very cool.
So it's great. And he really listens to us, and the writers really listen to us. And, from the beginning, when this was just an idea, we kind of got to shape, help shape who we really thought these characters had grown into being.
That's great. And you think that Stephanie's kind of more of you, like nowadays, you feel like you match the character. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's true. And it's funny because looking back as a kid, I think I was a lot like Stephanie as well, or she was like me. I'm not really sure, which direction sort of it goes, but yeah, right. and they've really done a great job at sort of carrying that over. And I think that it's, Stephanie is very similar to me in a lot of ways, which is fun, because it's kind of like a just crazy sort of distant version of myself.
Yeah. Well, we love who Stephanie is, and we love who you are too. So it works well.
Thank you.
Yeah. I recently observed Candace's dad helping your mom up the stairs at a taping. And I was just wondering.
Oh, that's sweet.
I know, right? And I was wondering, what is it like to look at the audience during a show and see your parents like all sitting there again 20-something years later? Like Candace's mom and dad are there and your mom and dad. But I mean, does that give you like goosebumps?
It's really amazing. We sort of joke about that, our parents are still there at every taping. We're like, oh my gosh, they come to every show. And it's so sweet. And it means so much to us that, my parents and Andrea's parents and Candace's parents, they have not missed a show. Like they are there every week, and we can hear our mom laughing. Particularly Andrea and myself, our moms have, very distinct laughs. And sometimes we'll be doing a scene, and at the end, I'm like, I can totally hear my mom laughing.
And then you look over, and your kids are there too. So there's like these new additions.
Yeah, it's this crazy, sort of full circle thing that it has. I always say, that first week that we were back, and I got a picture of me and my two girls sitting on that couch in that living room.
That couch.
I started to cry because it was a moment for me that I never in a million years thought that I would get to have. I never ever thought I'd have a picture that looked like that.
Or ever see the blue couch again, for that matter.
Never. Maybe in the Smithsonian, in like 30 years, but
right
next to Archie Bunker's chair. But yeah, I just never thought that it would. that would happen, so it is a really cool thing to, have our parents there and our family so supportive and our kids there. And, our kids, mine and Andrea's daughter are very close in age and they are so much alike and they just hit it off and they're like little twinsies running around the stage. And, it's things that happen that you just go, wow, this is, what a gift, what an immensely wonderful gift that I get to do this.
I love that. I love hearing this. Oh. I'm just like, I'm such a geek and I'm trying to interview. Okay, find the balance,
but
Erica.
it's funny. It's like, people hear this about Full House and it, they're like, oh, it's just a happy family show. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we're a family. Like, we really, truly are a family. Mm-hmm. And I think that really comes across. I think we're slightly more dysfunctional and a little bit more dark and inappropriately humored than the Tanner family. But at the end of the day, offset, we are a family and we love each other very, very deeply. And I think that is part of the reason that our show has been so successful for so many years, is that people see that not only on the show, but, when we're out together, and we have always stayed in touch. And, I think that's people love that. And, they're kind of mystified by this group of people that have, remained so close for almost 30 years.
Yeah. Totally. And you kind of just led me into my next question. Okay, so I have this thing where I hear Bob Saget being kind of tough in interviews where he's like, Danny Tanner was an acting job and I'm not anything like him. But when I see him talk about you girls, in interviews, I'm just like, he loves them. And he becomes Danny Tanner to me. Do you think he has any similarities in that tender dad sort of way? Because I totally think he does, but I mean, I don't know the guy personally.
He does. You know what, Bob, when he talks to us or, around us, he has a very sort of paternal instinct with us. And is, and he's known us, he's known me since I was 5, and Candace and Andrea since they were 10. He's known us growing up and known us, almost our whole lives. And so, he does, and he always says, I'm protective of you. I love you. I want, is everything okay? Are you good? Are you, when we go through stuff, he'll call or, whatever it is. And he's really good like that. And it is sweet. I see him in interviews and stuff. And, he really, he just gets all sappy when he talks about us.
He does.
It's sweet. It's great.
He kind of changes a little bit, it kind of a switch, and then there's just this sweet, sweet dad, father figure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so cute. So your jewelry line, Jodie Sweetin for Erica Annenberg, consists of different pieces with engraved mantras of hope, happiness and healing. What inspired you to create a line like this, with particular statements on engraved on the jewelry?
For me, it was, I wanted something that I could wear and sort of keep on me that was a daily reminder of the things that I want to sort of lead my life. And, when I had the opportunity to create a line like that, it was really exciting. It was I got to share kind of the mantras and the tenets that lead my life today. And I was just really excited to get to share that with people and have really pretty, delicate jewelry that I hope that, people would wear and kind of remind themselves, these are the things that are important. Right. Honesty, willingness, happiness, joy, all that kind of stuff. Because for me, those are the things, when I look in the mirror and I realize I have something kind of hanging around my neck that, has that on it. It's just a reminder for me to bring myself back to those things.
Yeah, it's definitely everything is really pretty. It's but it's very unique. So that stood out to me. Just little sayings and
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Sure. So your new reality show is coming out 2017. Is that right?
Yes, 2017. And we're really excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's an unscripted comedy. So it's sort of this hybrid of reality and unscripted television, where we're playing, it's myself and Christine Lakin, who was on Step by Step, and Beverly Mitchell from Seventh Heaven. And we're playing these kind of heightened versions of ourselves, in sort of crazy situations that are sometimes based on reality and kind of amped up a little bit. So it's, we're not walking around this is our daily life. It's these are things that have happened to us and these are things that are going on. And, this is kind of what we're doing with it. And it's fun. It's like a almost like a Curb Your Enthusiasm sort of thing, where it was like, I don't know if you ever watched that show,
Yes,
but
yes.
it was Larry David, but it wasn't really Larry David. It was like what Larry David would be if, you sort of just really purified all of his neuroses. And so that's kind of what we're doing with this show, is just really, purifying and amping up our unique characters and mashing them together in this show.
I love that. That's so fun. And what's your history with these girls? Like, you probably, I'm guessing, used to see Christina Lakin on the lot when you were doing Full House and she was doing Step by Step.
Yeah, Christine and I, she was on the show at the same time, and then we were in acting class together for a few years, and so we kind of, grew up together around like our early teenage years, and we always see each other at events, and we were always, friends and stuff. And then Beverly and I have known each other, since we were like 4 or 5 years old. We would always be up for the same commercial together. So every commercial audition we walk in, it was like me and Beverly, and so we just, became friends over the years. So, and then this, it's such a small world and such a unique kind of, sorority fraternity of kids that grow up in this business.
Right.
That you tend to bond with those people because you're like, hey, did you have sort of a really unique growing up experience? Me too. Okay, cool. Let's hang out.
We're like one of a million. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. I like that. I'm excited that there's like a little bond, like there's an actual history with you guys, because I think that makes it more exciting.
Okay. Absolutely. And, now we're all 3 moms, and, my kids are a little bit older, and then Beverly's got her 2, and then Christine now has a newborn. So, we're all in different stages of, mommyhood and relationships and all that stuff. So it's, not only do we have this really unique experience that we've bonded over growing up and that we've known each other for years, but we're all kind of in the same place in our life. And, how do we handle those things, together as friends and also in such different ways.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, for wrapping up, is it okay if I ask you a few rapid fire questions?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so you finished writing your book at age 27, and a lot of life has happened since then. I actually just finished your book last night at like midnight. Loved it. If you could add in a new chapter, what would you call it?
If I could add in a chapter, what would I call it?
Is that too hard of a question? I feel like that's a little difficult.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if it's rapid fire, but if I could add in a chapter.
I'll give you a little time.
Probably things I wish I had done differently.
Okay. This question comes from my husband, Kyle, who, when we watched, I actually introduced Full House to my husband, and his main thing, and so he didn't watch it growing up, but obviously. So his main thing is like the world revolves around the Tanners in every single episode, and he would like to know if there was ever anything that seems so far-fetched that you thought people would have trouble buying it, and you were kind of like, I don't know if we can do this.
Absolutely. Pretty much every episode that we've done. You know what I mean? Like,
are you allowed to say that?
Or another. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's a sitcom. It's funny, ridiculous situations. But, there were a lot of things that I think people could relate to. And there were a lot of, at the core of what we did, It was family TV. It was family relationships. It was funny. It was kids growing up. It was, adults learning how to, cooperate in a family and how to raise kids, but there were things like Stephanie backing the car through the kitchen.
Classic.
How did the car get in the backyard anyway? Like, we always had sort of this expanding and ever changing backyard size.
Right.
And I think a concrete truck went through that same kitchen window a few seasons later.
Yep.
We did some really fun, silly stuff, but those are the things that people remember, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love that episode."
Yeah,
it's great. I mean, it's classic family television, and in Fuller House we do a lot of that kind of stuff too. And it is really interesting how this is the most interesting family in the world. Like, everything happens to them, around them.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy.
Everybody has to stop by the house if there's going to be a conversation. Like, it's going to happen at the Tanner home.
Exactly. Nobody just calls to have phone conversations. The door is always open. It's just kind of this really interesting mix of people always in and out of the house.
Very true. Okay, Dancing with the Stars experience in one word. Could you do it? I don't know. Are you up for the challenge?
I'm going to say 2 words: amazing and exhausting.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather get advice from Andrea or Candace?
It would depend on what I was asking about.
Okay. Would you rather own...
Probably as a group, because the three of us are like, we really are kind of like the she-wolf pack, so we have like little like huddles at lunch, you know what I mean? It's like, I gotta talk to you guys. And we sort of all converse about everything, so yeah.
a little good mix of both, depending on what's happening. Okay. Would you rather own a lock of John Stamos's hair or a piece of the blue couch?
Oh, a piece of the blue couch. I actually do own a piece of the blue couch, which everybody has signed, and I have matted and framed and hanging in my office at home.
Oh, wow. From Full House or Fuller House?
It's from Fuller House. We had but it was one of the episodes where we...
where you tore up the couch.
Where we tore up the couch, right? And we each got a square of the couch cushion and had it signed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Would you rather see Mr. Bear or DJ's Pillow Person get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Mr. Bear, for sure.
You better say Mr. Bear. Figured it was.
Yeah. Plus, he's already dressed as Humphrey Bogart, so it's sort of appropriate.
That's true. He's a star in his own right.
Yes.
Go to Disneyland with Bob or Dave?
God, that's hard. Probably I'm gonna say Dave, because I'm also really good friends with Dave's wife, and so it'd be a really fun double date.
Okay. Last one.
I don't know Bob's girlfriend quite as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, last one.
Sing backup for New Kids on the Block or Ace of Base?
New Kids.
Oh, you might just be feeling enthusiastic since your last taping, though.
I think it might be. Yeah, I think I might be a little bit tainted since they were at the show last week, and also I've heard the song "I Saw the Sign" so many times at this point that.
And might have played it a few times.
And played it a few times terribly because I don't know how to play guitar. So yeah, like at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with New Kids on the Block.
Okay. Well, you would stand out a lot in New Kids on the Block. Just saying.
Yes. Yeah, I would. Yeah, it wouldn't. I think I'd be a little bit noticeable
in the best way possible. Oh, well, thank you for calling. Oh my gosh, I'm still so excited about our chat. I could seriously ask you questions for like 5 hours, but I'm like, Erica, you got off. You won't.
Well, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm so glad that you love the show and have been such a huge fan. And we have a lot more exciting stuff for you in store on season 2 of Fuller House. So we'll be hopefully being able to announce that release date sooner than later.
Yes, and we are definitely excited. We'll be looking out for that, and you'll let us know if you're going to be performing or something.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll get the word out if you want it. I don't want your arms to get too... What did you say? Your arms get too nervous or something? Yes.
No, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jodie. It was so wonderful having you.
Great. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Okay.
All right. Have a great night.
Yes. Hopefully we can have you on again sometime when season 2 is kicking.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Okay. Thank you.
That would be great. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Yes. I can see why you've had a smile on your face for the past week.
I love her. Can I keep her?
You know what I think?
I hope she's not listening. She's like, oh my gosh, creepy. Actually, I do hope she's listening, but maybe not to that sentence.
It's funny because I could tell you were fangirling out there.
I love her. She's just, and she's like, I knew she was going to be cool, but she was cooler than I could have imagined.
Well, I think this works because normally you're very professional and
Are you saying I wasn't professional?
When you were on the radio, you interviewed all sorts of people. You always kept it cool, even if you're a fan. But I think now that we have a podcast, it's okay for you to be nerding out about things like this because the only people listening are the same people who would be nerding out if they were talking to Jodie.
True. I mean, yeah, but I mean, she's just. I love her. Have I mentioned that? Wasn't it fun listening? I hope you guys had fun listening to that. And
my dream, well, I wouldn't say my dream, but it was a crushing blow to hear that the Disneyland episode wasn't actually filmed where we honeymooned.
I know.
Just at a place that was built to look exactly like where we honeymooned.
Yeah, we had watched Full House on our honeymoon. It was on at Nick at Night, and that was the first time Kyle had seen any episodes, and I was like, I love this show.
So this is a throwback to like episode 1 of our podcast.
Yes,
but
it is.
I did not grow up doing the TGI Friday routine like your family.
Right.
So first night of the honeymoon, you were flipping through channels while we waited for a pizza, and lo and behold, there was Full House, and it's never left our lives since.
So later, when we got back from our honeymoon a couple weeks later, we're like, oh my gosh, in this episode, they're at the Hotel Del Coronado, which is in San Diego, and they totally weren't. And I love that we thought that all this time, but then Jodie Sweetin came in and confirmed that it was not.
She shook the very foundations of our relationship.
But how cool is it that Jodie Sweetin crushed the rumor for us and nobody else?
That's true. She did let you down gently.
So about the taping...
Yes, and so this past Friday's taping was for the last episode of season 2, but it was not the last taping because we're going to a taping on Friday.
We are. We are all set to go. We have been told that stage access is not permissible for this episode, so I will not get to sit on my blue couch.
That's very sad.
I know.
You were so excited about that.
But we're so grateful to Michael Campion's mom, Sheila. We just want to say thank you for getting us into this last taping of Fuller House. I mean, she's just the best. So,
you know what this means, though, is once this is over, the filming's done, it's wrapped, and now we just have to sit and wait for it to come out.
I know, but you know what? I'll have seen 3 episodes.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing those episodes that I watched.
There's only going to be 10 episodes of the season you haven't seen.
Right. So, Kyle.
Yes.
Do you think you'll be a protective dad? Like, even when our daughter's 40?
I don't even
if we have a daughter.
I don't even want to have a daughter because then I will never let her. Well,
that's a must.
I don't know how I would ever handle that. And yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
What was that?
So, yes, I will be a protective dad.
Okay. Well, I think, we saw Candace Cameron Bure's parents at the Fuller House premiere when we went.
Mm-hmm.
They were adorable.
Yes.
But her dad just got cuter.
Yes, he does not like watching Candace kiss boys.
No, she was, I guess she took questions for about 15 minutes last taping, which was a New Year's Eve taping of Fuller House. Candace went up there and asked the audience in between a scene if anyone had any questions. What do you think? Do you think anyone had any questions for Candace in that audience?
I think a few people probably had things to ask.
Yeah, I don't think she stood up there awkwardly just standing there for a while. But that was cool. I thought... Anyone?
Yeah.
How interesting that she thought to do that and, spent time with the audience like that. For those of you who don't know, I've said it before, but a Fuller House taping is pretty casual, and in between scenes, the cast will interact with the audience. But this happened to be like a very special occasion. And one girl asked her what her favorite episode of Full House was. Do you know what the answer was, Kyle?
I do not.
Stephanie driving the car through the kitchen.
Ooh, maybe we'll have to have Max drive some sort of vehicle into the kitchen.
Well, that's what Candace said. She said that they need to have Max or Jackson do that on Fuller House.
Well, we'll see. Maybe that'll be a season 3 event.
Bit. So, somebody asked Candace if she liked shooting Full House or Fuller House better, and she said she loves both equally. Most of the original cast is back, and we all love each other both, and it's so great. So
boring.
Yeah, Jeff Franklin, apparently the creator of the show, chimed in and said that was a very politically correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's such a professional. She's got this down.
Well, Candace said she turned it around on the audience and asked them a question: which characters from Full House would you like to see back? You know what people said?
Who did they?
Rusty and Stavros.
No, Stavros.
Stavros.
Gosh.
It's not Stavros. Yeah. It's Stavros.
Stavros.
Somebody else said Gia. And Jeff Franklin said, well, one of those is coming back.
And faithful listeners of the Fuller House podcast know exactly who that is. And of course, it's going to be Gia coming back.
Yeah. I mean, we pretty much have already
And there's
heard
some
that
other
over and
people
over
coming
again.
back as well, including Nelson, but not the original Nelson.
No, Nelson is being recast as we speak, or he's been recast already.
So
Back to Candace Cameron and her dad being protective. So she mentioned that her parents were both in the audience and that her dad stands up in the audience anytime she has a kissing scene with a guy. And creator of Full House and Fuller House, Jeff Franklin, asked her to repeat that. And she said, "My dad stands up when I'm kissing the boys. I have to explain to him that I'm just acting, and he always has the talk with any male actor I have a kissing scene with." And
that's adorable.
Jeff Franklin was like, "Still?"
Well, I can imagine he just gets so uncomfortable he has to stand up, burn off some of that nervous energy.
How cute is that, though? She's 40. I love it. Her dad's still cheering her on in the audience and getting nervous when she has to kiss somebody.
I would imagine her husband would probably feel equally nervous.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen him at a taping yet. Maybe he just stands so much they banned him from tapings. Okay, I'm kidding. That was a joke, everyone.
Well, the season finale of season 2 is a New Year's themed episode, so I'd say there's a pretty good chance she ends up having to kiss someone.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, somebody's going to have to kiss somebody, right? It's New Year's Eve. They wouldn't have that episode if there wasn't kissing in it.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to get Team Matt and Team Steve to face off and try and debate who it's going to be.
So
or
Michael,
it could be a new challenger.
You never know. Michael Campion and Bobby Popko did.
Bobby Popko's back.
Yeah,
Yay.
they apparently showed the audience a very long secret handshake, which I know Michael Campion posted on Instagram. So if you want to see what that's like, you can probably just watch it on Instagram.
Yeah, I am stoked that there's going to be more Bobby Popko. That was my one request for season 2.
I know you do love you some Popko.
Yes, I think he's a great character that they just that one episode was not enough, though it did involve Mexican wrestling, and that was cool.
So have you ever seen Aladdin, Kyle?
Yes, starring the one and only Scott Winger.
As Aladdin, the
Yes.
voice of Aladdin. Well, apparently...
By the way, is that something that everybody knows? That Team Steve is the voice of Aladdin?
If they don't, they should.
Yeah, I take this as for granted that everyone knows this, but I mean, there's a lot of people who probably weren't even alive when Aladdin came out and are Fuller House fans. So go rent Aladdin.
Go rent it. Well, you are stuck in the 90s.
Yes, go down to your local Blockbuster.
Anyways, Candace told the MC, when the audience was introducing her and Scott, because the MC at the tapings will oftentimes be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Candace Cameron Bure," and just have everyone clap like randomly. So he was introducing her and Scott, and Candace said that all she wanted in life was to get a quick "aboo" from Scott. And all of a sudden, Scott broke into "Carpet, let's go." And then the DJ started playing A Whole New World from Aladdin, at which point the entire audience started singing it. Oh, I would have loved to be there. And Scott and Candace started dancing to it together, like ballroom dance type thing.
Oh my gosh.
How fun is that? I love A Whole New World. I want to sing along with them. Too bad I missed. But you guys get the point. How much fun is that?
Oh, it sounds like a blast.
You would like it.
Yeah, we should have been there. It's also the last appearance of the Legacy cast.
Yes.
We thought we were being so clever by going to the last taping, and then they went and they filmed that finale the second to last week.
Jerks! Speaking of which, John Stamos got on the mic for like 5 minutes, thanking everyone for being there, and he told everyone that they could. Oh, when he was little, he used to go to the Happy Days tapings at Paramount Studios. And
Man, he's really old.
Aw. He said that he always said to himself, "I'm going to do that one day." Can you imagine Uncle Jesse in the audience as a kid being like, "Have mercy, I'm going to do that one day"?
And well, he made it happen. So that's probably a good thing for the aspiring actors and actresses in the audience to hear.
Yeah, he told the audience if anybody wanted to be an actor, they could do it too. And then Bob took the mic, thanked everyone. John Stamos started doing sign language behind Bob as he was talking.
And let me guess, Bob followed it up with an inappropriate joke.
Yes, he said it was his dream to have John hold him from behind like that.
Oh, yeah. You can always predict an inappropriate joke from Mr. Saget.
So I have one more thing to tell you, Kyle.
Okay, and then we should wrap up.
Yeah. Dave Coulier farted at the taping. Are you surprised?
Not one bit.
Me either. Apparently, he farted before one of the scenes started, and it was a scene with him, Bob, and John, and Bob literally had to walk away.
John Stamos or John Brotherton?
John Stamos, sorry.
Oh, of course. He feels so comfortable with the other old guys that he can just let one rip.
And he was like, Dave, no! Dude, can we just put Dave on like a better diet or something? I'm getting worried for him. He's been farting since the 90s. Like, there's a problem here.
Oh, yes.
I told you that I've heard that thing. Like, I think they had like an E-News or E-True Hollywood story of Full House, like, come out 10 years ago or so, and they were saying how the Olsen twins used to be like, Dad, Dave made a stinky.
Oh, yeah. That seems to be one of his go-tos.
Wow. I hope he doesn't go to it when I'm there on Friday.
Well,
So,
hey, that would mean that he was there for the episode, and
true.
you would be very happy.
If I have to put up with his gas, I don't know. I was going to say I'll do it, but I mean, do I really want to say that?
Well,
His gas sounds pretty lethal.
it doesn't sound like that's going to be an issue, but we should get out of here.
Yes, we hope you guys enjoyed the Jodie Sweetin interview. We hope you'll be back with us next week to hear about the last taping. I mean, last week was technically the last show, but this is the last taping, if that makes sense.
It's so confusing. So this is the second to last episode,
This is
and
the
they're filming it last.
Right. Yes. And we hear it's going to be good. We hear I know some things about it, and you're not going to be disappointed. So.
And 2 weeks from now, the episode after that, we will be doing our final recap of season 1, where we talk about the last episode and DJ's bachelorette finale.
Ooh.
I wonder who she'll choose.
I don't know, but we're not going to say.
And remember, if this is the first episode you've caught, go head to iTunes or Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts, and hit subscribe. We'd love if you followed us on this Fuller House journey. And of course, we always appreciate your reviews.
Yeah,
and,
guys, step up the
recommendations.
Reviews, please. We need some reviews. It's been a while.
And you can always shoot us emails at fullerhousepodcast@gmail.com. You know, if you went to a taping and you have any tidbits you want to share or have any questions, send them our way. And of course, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, yada, yada, yada.
Do you like how I was more bossy this time about the reviews?
Yeah,
we'll see if that works.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Congratulations, Erica, on getting to talk to your childhood hero. And we'll catch you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fuller House Podcast with Erica and Kyle. Find us and like us on Facebook at the Fuller House Podcast, on Twitter at Fuller House Cast, or on Instagram at Fuller House Podcast. Or shoot us an email at fullerhousepodcast@gmail.com. And make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this show. And feel free to leave us a 5-star review. See you next week.